Welcome back to another Tera Plays Tera video. Now, today's video was originally planned to cover the Tera Console 104.01 update, but I had to redo this intro because I just found out that this update is delayed. So I still want to release this video. I still want to get this information out for those who didn't read the patch notes, or maybe you didn't realize that they actually changed some of the patch notes. All the information should be the same. It's just that it's not coming out when this video is. It's coming out at a later date. So yeah, fun, cool. Let's get into the patch notes. So the first thing you might be asking is what happened with the last patch? What happened with the last update, 103.02? We've noticed that some bosses got a slight increase of HP and attack. There was notes of fixing certain mechanics in Cursed Antheros Abyss that didn't get fixed, along with Joy of Parting. Well, all of those changes that didn't happen in that update should be happening in this update. Now, the first thing I want to talk about with this update that's more strict about this update is the devs released a gold issues note. What that is that there's apparently a lot of inflammation of gold on the server, and the devs never meant for this to happen. This happened sometime around when Chandra Manaya was released, IMC, all that stuff, that there was just a overabundant growth of Ecto, and the devs want to kind of fix this issue of us having millions of gold. They haven't expressed how though. The next thing we're going to talk about is the Battle Pass. Season 8 has officially came out. It is going to be titled The Black Rabbit, and there's quite a few goodies you can get from this Battle Pass. You can get a bunny head, you can get a bouncy bunny costume, some chromatic footsteps, a smart box with a weapon skin, a battle thrush flying skill, a power source, and a mixed stigma legendary crate. As well, if you buy the Battle Pass Plus, you'll receive what basically is given every time: the instant jump to level 30, along with a Black Rabbit effect, and quite a few other immediate rewards, such as a power source, bracelet of absolute equilibrium, some stigma crates, Battle Pass bonus box, some Battle Pass gem boxes, and basically the usual Battle Pass Plus rewards. But this one I like that they're giving both a power source and a bracelet, whereas last season you only got a power source. So I think that's kind of nice that as a total, if you reach the max level, you'll get 2 power sources along with a bracelet. The next thing we'll go into is Reaper changes. And yes, I had a question mark for this, because when the patch notes first dropped, they were making a big change to this class. Since then, enough people complained or were upset with the changes that they have actually removed all this. But if you haven't read the notes and you're like, oh, what was meant to happen? Well, they were going to change Assassinate and Shrouded Escape. They were going to drop the damage from 200 to 30, no more 100% crit chance, and no more back damage. I think Reaper does need some reworking with this skill. I think this was too much. I think the devs should start small, and maybe the first thing they do is remove all back attacks. You know, now Reapers have to play at the back maybe, and just leave the rest. Or keep the back attacks and lower the crit chance from like 100 to 70. Or keep both of those and lower the damage from like 200 to 150, and slowly pull these, modifiers back a little till the Reaper sits with the rest of the classes. I think removing all of what they did was way too much, and I'm glad they reverted it back. The next thing we'll go over is dungeon changes. There are 4 dungeons being reopened, one of them being one of my absolute favorite, Dreadspire, is coming back as a 453 to a 463. I'm very happy to see Dreadspire come back. Shadow Sanctuary Hard is coming out as a 455. Grotto of Lost Souls is coming out as a 453, and the Absence is being brought out as a 448. There are 3 dungeons getting closed, that being Velix Hold Hard, Red Refuge Hard, and Red Refuge. Now, Dreadspire will be open from March 9th to June 8th, so we have about 3 months for you to get your first clear on each floor. If you've not ran Dreadspire and you're wondering how this works, well, basically, the first time your character, that specific character, if you do it on a different character, you get the rewards again, but the first time that character clears a floor, receives rewards. This being, when you clear floor 1, you get 1 diamond, floor 2, 1 diamond, floor 3 is 2 diamonds, floor 4, 2 diamonds, floor 5 gives 3 diamonds, floor 6 gives a total of 50 mileage, floor 7 gives 5 diamonds, floor 8 gives you 100 Tera coin, and if you complete floor 9, you get a total of 8 diamonds. Now, that's for that floor, so when you clear all the Dreadspire, you can add up all those diamonds, and that's the amount of rewards you get. Next, I want to go over some just overall changes. The first thing is Ace Dungeons are getting reorganized as well. With the Ace Metal Shop, you can still get Uncommon Noctinium, you can get Emeralds and Dyed Niviate Structures, as well as the Plunder Glyph Box has its price reduced down to 120 points. Vanguard requests have been reorganized with the current dungeons open, as well as Ace Dungeon reward has been increased. There has been a dungeon improvement with Velik Sanctuary Hard. Instead of going through that first section of mobs that should be removed, that whole area should be now gone, and we should start right at the first boss room. Guild quests have been reorganized so that now that when you look at your guild quests, you won't see a bunch of dungeons that aren't in the game anymore. I think that was much needed, and I'm glad they did that. As well as Chaos Fragments will now be a shared item. They used to be only one person in the group get it. Well, now everyone gets it. Also, all the bugs that I mentioned from the previous patch coming over should be fixed in this patch. So, that is the majority of the patch notes. They will be linked if you want to read them. The last thing I want to cover in this video is community talk. Y'all lately have been asking me questions to bring to the developers, and I've done that, and I want to take some time out of new patch note videos I make to try to answer some people's questions that the devs were nice enough to get back to me about. So the first one goes out to Omaha, who is asking when, if, and is Bahar making a reappearance. Now, I want you to know the devs were super excited when I asked this. From what I can tell, they do want to bring Bahar back, but they can't release any information on that soon. The biggest thing they said was just stay tuned to patch notes. So I'm hoping Bahar will be making a reappearance very soon. The next question comes from Leo17120, and Leo is asking, is there any chance we can get some PvP changes, better rewards, new game modes like Guild Sky Castle or Alliance PvP, and just overall more PvP balances? From what I got back is the devs do have plans for PvP, but they aren't going to release any information on that just yet because there's a lot of other issues with the game that they want to fix first. Basically, there's just so many glitches and PvE issues that they don't want to take the time for PvP just yet. And it seems like down the road, once all of that's fixed, they have ideas to overhaul PvP completely. So stay tuned, hopefully we'll learn more about this in the upcoming future. The final question comes from Richard Green. Richard was asking about the new class development. If you're new to Tera and you haven't been here, or maybe you don't remember about 2-3 years ago when Koji was working with the game, the devs wanted to ask the community if anyone could think of a cool, new, interesting class they could add to the game. With that, this was maybe like a contest or something. At the time, it sounded like the devs had full plans to add a new class. But due to all the changes, this idea is currently closed. What I mean by that is when I asked the developers about this concept, they said they still have the data, but there's no plans to move forward with it at the moment due to everything else they're trying to fix. They also made it kind of sound like when Koji was around and the old developers that there wasn't any plans to add a new class at all, that this was just something that they wanted to open up to the community to start being able to talk with us. Now, I don't know if that's exactly how it's going to happen, but as of now, there's no further info for this. With that, that is the end of this video. I hope you liked. If you got any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments section. And as always, I hope to see you in Aboria, gamers.